Having landed in the same anchorage as our friend Jamel from Indiantown, we decided to go in for a night of trivia at Captain Jack's, but not before making a run out to the beach on the north side of Elbow Key. Apparently, a West Sail 32 had ended up on the shore the night before and was still lodged in the sand. Jamel had been able to gather a few facts from a friend who came upon the wreck that morning and found out it was 2 men and 2 dogs that had been traveling up from Puerto Rico to St. Augustine. The duo had run into some bad weather with all the cold fronts running down the coast, and also lost power to both the engine and electronics. We knew the boat landed on shore after dark, and all occupants were able to walk off without injury. Jamel told us he also heard this boat had just suffered through Hurricane Maria down in Puerto Rico, and the owner assessed that there was too much damage to the boat between the 2 incidents and planned to leave it for salvage. Inspecting the boat, we found that multiple lines were wrapped around the prop and rudder, and had to assume that the loss of steerage had something to do with the wreck. If there is one thing we heard we had to do while in the Abacos, it was to go see the lighthouse shining over Hopetown on Elbow Key. A staple to many postcard-esque photos from this set of islands, the Elbow Reef Lighthouse has also earned its place in history as the last kerosene-burning lighthouse in the world. It is manually operated, and with the lighthouse keeper living on grounds, the light must be manually cranked every 2 hours to keep it running.
The pen doesn't work.
Round.
We're going black. I'll sign it.
It was built in the 1860s by the British Imperial Lighthouse Service to mark the numerous reefs that line the island. Much to the dismay of the locals, though. Many inhabitants of the island at the time made their living from salvaging the various boats that ended up on their shores. Many attempts of sabotage were made to keep this lighthouse from going up, including sinking a barge that was transporting building materials. As we made our way up the 101 steps of this red and white candy-striped tower, painted those colors to be used as a day marker for seafarers, we crawled out the tiny door to the platform and the breathtaking views from the top. 120 feet above sea level, we could clearly make out all the boats moored in the harbor and the breaking waves crashing over the reefs offshore. Looking to the north beach of Elbow Key, we even spied the mast of Ellipsis sitting in the sand. In the other direction, where Elements was anchored, the combination of grassy and sandy bottoms in the water made for a beautiful mosaic of turquoise and blues. After wandering up and down the extremely scenic streets of Hopetown, I espied a large resort from the road with the promise of a poolside bar and great Atlantic Ocean views. Even though we had cold Coronas waiting for us back at the boat upon return, the views were something I didn't want to miss out on, and soon we were wandering the picturesque complex to find them. Passing through the reef bar and grill to the steps leading us to the beach, we once more had our breath taken away by the postcard perfect views in every direction we looked.
Screw living on a boat. I want to live right here. This is beautiful.
Amazing. Absolutely stunning. Everything. Oh, look at that reef. No wonder they call it the reef bar. Everything crashing around here. After leaving the harbor lodge, we wandered back to the beach we had been at the day before to check on Ellipsis again, and found our owner there this time, removing personal belongings from the boat. After talking to him for a few minutes, he told us he was tired of all the hearsay that was going along with how his boat ended up where it was, and wanted the chance to tell his story personally. What he told us is that somewhere southeast of the Bahamas, they had run into a storm and were being pushed west toward the Abacos. Not being able to clear the islands, they spent 2 days trying to claw off the lee shore before eventually running out of sea room. The engine had died a few days before, although we didn't get a reason why, and their Cape Horn wind vane broke, forcing him to hand steer for 4 days. He could see the lighthouse of Hopetown and made it through the northern part of the island, where he tried anchoring until daylight to make it the rest of the way around. Because of the high wind and waves, the anchor road parted and they were swept around the east side of the island between the reef and the beach. The lines in the water and around the prop were from them trying to catch a coral head to stop from running on the beach. In the end, the lines wrapped around the prop and the rudder, and there was nothing they could do but hold on until they washed ashore. He did confirm that he was not going to try and save the boat, as there was a large crack on the hull of the port side, about 3 feet long, that had been letting in water and flooded the interior. Crazy and spectacular day today in Hopetown.